Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first edition of Chats with Legends, in which we will have the privilege and honor of talking with Brett Storm, a voiceover artist who will talk about the goals, about his ambitions, and they will talk about a little bit of his career and maybe talk about some advice to newcomers, to the people who are willing to get in this industry. So stay tuned and follow us in this interesting conversation with this amazing, so amazing voiceover artist, Fred Storm. Hello.
How's it going?
Yeah, I'm okay. What about you?
Hey,
It's a really
I'm
privilege.
good, man. I'm good. I was battling a cold for the last week and a half, man. It just kind of like wrecked me.
Yeah.
So I'm just trying to bounce back. I appreciate you wanting to do this with me. I think it's going to be great, and it's going to get me going again, because it was a couple of days there. I was just kind of out of it.
Yeah. No, it's a privilege. It's an honor. As I told you the last time we talked, it's a real privilege to talk to you, and I feel very excited about this conversation.
Yeah, I do too. I always like talking about voiceover. Voiceover is a big part of my life, obviously, and you know, and the possibilities are endless here in this profession.
Yeah.
So the end of the
So
year is good. This is a good way to close out the end of the year.
yeah, this is a good way. It's a perfect way. So when you give me that green light, you say like, oh, I'm available. I said, oh man, this is a great way to close 2021, so we can start in a good way 2022. So I'm really excited about this, and I think it's important to change ideas and share the knowledge we have about our areas of expertise. So when I saw your profile, I said, oh man, because I didn't have. This is the first time I'm having a chat with a professional, with voiceover artists. So I think I'm gonna
Okay.
learn a lot with in this conversation. So I'm very thankful for this.
All right, let's do it.
So the first question, Brad, I would like to know, how is your life in these complicated times? We know that COVID is challenging all of us, and we need actually to change the way we see life, the way we take our activities. So how is your life in this complicated time because of COVID-19?
COVID-19 has changed a lot as far as the way I look at things. Initially when it first started, I think before everybody, it was revealed like in March of what 2019. I think I had it. I was sick for like 2 weeks. Little test for it, and nobody knew about it. But I had all the symptoms. I had fever. I was like having trouble breathing, and I have asthma. So it made things difficult. But I fought through it. I don't, and I can't guarantee it was that was the case, but
Yeah.
it really was an eye opener. And but the good thing about voiceover, is the fact that you don't need to go into an office to work.
Yeah.
Even with your agents nowadays, if you have an agent, you don't have to go into the studio they book for you to go record.
Okay.
If you figure the things out you need to figure out to make a space for you to record that is professional sounding, you can get the job done at your home. So that is a very beautiful thing, my friend. And I think
Yeah.
with the COVID, we had a boom in the voiceover industry because everybody was losing their jobs or getting laid off. And they realized, hey, I could do this from my house. I don't think they realized how difficult it can be,
Okay.
but there was a lot of competition. Lots of competition. I think that's what really affected our industry. Like you had more challenges as far as trying to audition for jobs,
Okay.
whereas maybe you had to audition against 50 to 100 people, maybe to 1,000 people on national spots. You got double that now. So these are the things you had to take into consideration. And you just had to build up kind of like, like armor,
Okay.
because if you aren't used to being rejected, if you aren't used to seeing people saying no to you, then you're not going to make it. And that's how we weed out a lot of the people that just jump right in, because this is not easy.
Yeah.
Voiceover isn't easy. You know, I had another guy yesterday tell me, he's like, everybody tells me I have a great voice. People told me I had a great voice. And I thought I could just walk right in and go. I used to be a ring announcer, right? I used to go, ladies and gentlemen, making his way down to the ring. You know, I did all that kind of stuff. And I loved it. And I thought that would translate really well into the voiceover industry. It's a whole different ball game, different ball game.
But you still remember the way you started this your career in voiceover, and like the first time you get your first role. How was it? How did you start? What is the? Can you talk about your first step in this industry?
Yeah, my first step or my first revelation, a voiceover was in the Connecticut School of Broadcasting. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I used to work in Atlanta or close to Atlanta as a firefighter. And I would travel back and forth to work in the morning, and I'd hear this commercial on the radio saying, do you want to get into broadcasting? Do you want to be on TV? Well, you can join Connecticut School of Broadcasting. And I thought, well, I went to school for journalism at the University of Georgia back in long time ago, 1998, I graduated. And I was like, hey, maybe I should get back into it. Maybe I should see what possibilities are there. And so I went back to school in 2011, and I was introduced to Eileen Kimball. She was a radio DJ, well-renowned radio DJ. And she also did voiceover work. A lot of radio people do voiceovers, especially in the promo commercial spots, because their voice tends to translate well into that area. And so she gave us scripts, she gave us ideas, we wrote copy, and then we would read them out loud. And this kind of like pulled me into it and said, wow, I like this. I want to learn more. So I recorded my first demo with her, and I learned a lot through that whole process. And I also was introduced to a team of guys who were into wrestling, but they were forming their own MMA radio podcast.
Okay.
And I thought, hey, this would be great to join forces and to be able to be a part of that team. And so we created an award-winning MMA mixed martial arts podcast, which focused on the fighters in the Southeast. And we traveled the Southeast. I'd interview fighters, and I would be like, you know, Sérgio, like if I was interviewing you on a fight, you just got done with your fight, you're all sweaty and bloody. And I'd be like, and remember, Sérgio is going to punch you in the face. You know, I do that.
Yeah, that's exciting.
And so I translated that moniker into, Go ahead. Yeah.
No, I
translated that moniker into punch every day in the face.
Okay. No, I was going to ask you about what is the really the perfect definition of being a voiceover artist? What is to be a voiceover artist? Because I know a lot of people don't even understand this concept. So can you give a little definition about this?
To be a voiceover actor, you need to be humble. I think you need to be humble in any aspect of your life, really. Okay. There are people that think very highly of themselves. It doesn't matter what profession it is. But those people, I believe in karma. If you don't ever give and all you do is take, I think there's some kind of a payback down the road for you. I believe in giving, and I had to find out how to do something and learn things the hard way. I'd like to share that knowledge with somebody that's up and coming, anybody that reaches out to me. There's a lot of people you can reach out to that are, okay, well, I charge $50, $100 an hour for a consultation. And that's great. The people that can make that money, that's great. Yeah. But there's certain, I believe that you need to help out as well. You can't just take. Yeah. And I also believe that you need to put systems in place. And this took me a while because I wasn't a business major. I was a journalism major. I didn't know anything about business and how to put systems in place to be accountable and to make sure you're tracking your finances, make sure you're tracking your goals. You need to be organized. You need to be organized. It's very important. You need to track your time. You need to make sure you're writing down your daily activities every day. Yeah. And this job's not a Monday through Friday job. This job's an everyday job. This job, I got hit up this morning at 4 in the morning for a job. Did I just go back to sleep? No, I'm trying to get business. So you got to be prepared to be at your best at all times. And you have to be able to communicate properly to possible clients. I didn't know how to, type in messages on Messenger and, using freelance sites like Upwork and Fiverr and people per hour and having to communicate with them via keyboard. That was complicated for me. I'd rather talk on the phone or send a message. So I had to learn how to communicate. So you need to be excellent at communication and always spin everything in a positive light. Because there was a time where I thought everybody was, I was like, oh, I don't trust these possible clients. They're trying to take me and they're trying to get everything for cheap. But in reality, every job's a learning experience. I mean, if you're making big time money when you start off, good for you. Tell me how to do it. I mean, because when I started off, it took me a while. It's taken me a while to get to where I am today. But you know what? You appreciate it more. So just stay humble, be organized, and be positive and communicate effectively when approaching possible clients.
No, that's very exciting to hear, and I love the way you see life and the way you see the activities or your job, your career actually, and the advice you actually give us. So it's very interesting to see the way you define, you analyze life, you analyze different topics about the way we should be, the way we should behave. So the question is, what is your advice to the newcomers, to the young artists that are starting to their path in this industry? So what would you say to them?
The newcomers out there in voiceover, just realize, and this goes with anything in life. When I was a firefighter in the rookie school and I would be competing against other people, I had a guy tell me one day, he's like, because I'm very amped up. I mean, I've been amped up all my life. I've been high energy. But he told me this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. It is a marathon. Voiceover, you're never, ever going to stop learning. And the minute you take the foot off the accelerator is going to be the minute you fall behind. You need to continuously learn. And you know what? Don't wait for other people to help you figure out certain things. I was in a mastermind when I first started. I was in a mastermind, and I was really ticked off because the guy, I said, how do I figure this out? And this guy in the mastermind's like, Google it. And I was just like, I'm paying for this service, and this is the answers I'm getting. But in reality, if you don't know the answer, you do need to Google it. Google is a great tool. I learned how to audio edit, which is Adobe Audition, Audacity, Reaper. You learn these things by doing. Learn how to act. If you don't know how to act, forget about it. Learn how to act. I was a ring announcer. It took me a while that I needed acting lessons, and that's something you can't teach on your own. So you have to reach out to other people that are better at that than you. Don't surround yourself by people that are below you. Always surround yourself. Well, I mean, it's good to have those people around you, but you want to have people that are above you and doing better than you. So you can learn from them and you can strive to be just like them, but in your own way. And don't forget to market yourself and network. Marketing is free for everyone nowadays. When I was ring announcing in the 90s, you had to bring a camera to get any footage. Nowadays, you can get footage of yourself doing anything. If you're really bold, you can get on TikTok and do all your auditions on TikTok Live. These are the possibilities you have to promote yourself, because don't rely on an agent. Don't rely on your friend next door. Do it yourself and network with people. LinkedIn, Alignable, great places to meet clients. That's where I meet my best clients, on LinkedIn and Alignable. And I always thank them for connecting with me, either through voice message or through messaging, because I want them to remember me. And that's important. Those things are important.
But it's interesting. And but what you're saying now got into this question. how do you deal with stress, like with this pressure of not having a gig, a role, a job, etc.? How do you deal with this all stuff? How do you deal with this? Because I know it's complicated
Stress is
sometimes
a killer.
to get a job, to get
Oh yeah.
etc. So how do you deal with this with these pressures, with this stress?
Stress is a killer. I mean, it really is. You know, leaving the fire department, there's a lot of things that I saw, and there's a lot of like it was always fast paced. It was always okay when that bell rang. It was always going to be full throttle. You know, we were going to have to deal with either heart attacks or fires, and that kind of messed with me for a while, and I got some anxiety over that, and I had to learn how to cope with my anxiety. A lot of ways to cope with your anxiety. First of all, you have to figure out what helps you with your stress. Now, I like to do yoga. I like to lift weights. Yeah, I do that 4 or 5 days a week. You got to do something that releases that stress. I like to play guitar. You know, I'll play guitar. I'm not great at it, but I like to do it because it calms my nerves. And I also like getting in here in my booth and doing crazy voices, Hey, how's it going? Hey, everybody. Hey, what's happening? I love doing that stuff. Decepticons. I love that. And that's what helps me release my energy. Also, when I talked about it earlier, pen to paper. Corey Disson, a friend of mine, a good friend of mine that's helped me improve in my game. He always talks about pen to paper. When you can physically...
But sorry, so you are talking about Decepticons right now, and I was remembering Optimus Prime, and I was going to ask you about you analyze how do you analyze that voice when you see when you analyze Optimus Prime? What's your point of view about that voice?
Oh, Optimus Prime.
Yeah,
that's a godly voice. That voice has transcended time. I mean, I grew up watching Transformers. I saw the big picture in 1989 where Optimus Prime dies. I was there at the movie theater. And with voices and with character voices, you got to be able to break down scripts. You got to be able to look and go, okay, what's the beginning, middle, and end? I was working at a time with Corey Rhymes with the VO Academy. And I learned a lot about breaking down scripts, analyzing scripts, like even like in a short promo, it'd be like, today on Nickelodeon, you want to be crazy. You want to be goofy. Well, you can have it in just one take. Phoebus and Furby, it's like, you got to know what your audience is. You got to know like, who you're talking to. Like if I'm doing a Nickelodeon promo spot, I'm talking to kids, right? You got to be able to break it down. And if you're going to be doing a character voice like Optimus Prime, you really need to have a deep voice. You got to have that deep voice. And don't mimic people. Put your own twist on it. Like if I do, I'm Starscream. I did my own twist on it. I'm not doing the real, like the actual Starscream. I'll just do it the way I like it. And we'll try to see if it works. You always got to get feedback on your stuff. I mean, I post stuff on YouTube all the time. And I don't take it to heart when people, if they don't like it or not, hey, that's fine. Then I know I need to tweak something,
Yeah.
So there you go.
No, interesting. That's very interesting. But I was going to ask you about because we know that everybody has a kind of inspiration when you start their career. So when you look to this voiceover industry, is there any person, is there a professional, is there an actor, voiceover artist that you look as a kind of model, a role model that inspires you, and you're still following his path? Who is the person that actually gives you the light, this desire of being voiceover artist?
You really don't. I mean, you could have people like there's people that you could look up to that, hey, I watched this cartoon, or hey, I heard this commercial spot. But there's one guy in particular, Domingo Castillo. Now, this guy right here, he taught me to not get frustrated. He taught me.
I'm listening. I'm still here. Yeah.
A very negative place. when I transitioned over to voiceover. And so I thought everybody was just negative, complaining about everything. And the fact of the matter is, voiceover has a lot of positive people.
Okay.
And it really rubbed off on me. And, you know, I would be like, I can't do that voice. I tried to do this Joker voice for a while, and I'm not the best at it, right? But I worked on it. But I would say, I suck at this. And he's like, you don't suck at this. It's just like, you're good at it, but you can get better. And just keep working on it. And so that was one person in particular. I just mentioned the other one, Corey Disson. Corey Disson's been a big factor in my life as far as keeping me organized. And he's another guy that gives back and doesn't ask anything in return. And that's a beautiful thing, because there's people out there like that. Corey Rhymes is another guy with the VO Academy. He gave me an opportunity to be a facilitator for the VO Academy. And he made me realize that I'm not just a voiceover actor. I mean, I can help people out improve their script reads. And Big Jim Lamance, we do a podcast. It's called the VO's Padded Room Podcast. And we're up to like 30, 31 episodes. You can check it out on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Captivate, Ghana, wherever you want. It's there. A VO's Padded Room Podcast. And I've been able to interview a lot of great voiceover artists. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have gotten back into the podcasting industry. And I'd like to make mention of one of my mentors in pro wrestling. His name was Straight Call Star Stevens. He passed away a year and a half ago. And he opened the door for me to be a ring announcer. And, you know, I love that guy. And if it wasn't for him, I don't know what I'd be doing. I might not be doing this right now.
Yeah, but when you look to the job you do, what kind of skills you think that are very important to a professional who is following this path? What are the kind of skills that are very important for this activity, for this profession? Because I know that
in our fast-paced
there might be a lot of skills that a voiceover artist might have. So that's why I'm wondering here, which kind of skills that are very important for voiceover artists?
When you begin in voiceover, you know, just like with the many things, you have to wear many hats. And you got to learn many things, unless you have a never-ending amount of money to spend on outsourcing all these things. So if you don't, you need to learn how to set up your space. You need to go do research. How do I make this soundproof? How do I get my noise floor down to a certain decibel level? These are things that you need to learn. You also need to learn, like I said before, how to act. Very important. If you don't know how to act, if you can't get emotional, oh my God, what happened to you? I miss you so much. You can't be like, angry, like, get out of here, don't those switches. And if you that switch, that's something you need to learn. You also need to learn how to edit audio. That is very important. If you don't know how to do that, you really can't do much anything else. You got to learn about all your equipment. I met a guy locally here when I was going to his studio. And there's a lot of things I still didn't know. But he made me realize I didn't know anything really, because he was like, a lot of you so-called voiceover artists come in here, but you don't even know what equipment you're using. It hurt. It hurt me, man. It really did. I was looking for him to be a mentor, but in actuality, he didn't become a mentor, but he did make me realize I need to know about all my equipment. So I started studying all my equipment, started studying about what the ins and outs, what everything sounds like. And that made me better. So know your equipment. And know that it's just going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of time to figure all these things out. And, you can do it faster paced. Just depends on how much money you're willing to spend.
No, it's interesting when you talk about, because somehow you're talking about the emotion, the way people embody the emotion. Because if you're in pain, if you're in anger, and if you are in different kind of emotion, somehow you need to act, you need to put out your voice, analyzing or taking the point that you're in that kind of emotion. I don't know if that is what you're talking about, but I was thinking here that being a voiceover artist, somehow you need to know how to deal with emotion. Is that right?
Yeah, you got to know how to deal with emotions. And plus, if you're doing promo spots, or
Yeah,
Charlie Toro is a guy that I follow. He's great at it. And you got to learn how to breath control. You
yeah,
got to be really breathy when you're, doing certain reads. And, you got to have that. And even with promo reads, you got to be, coming soon to a theater near you. You got to be
yeah,
able to get that style. And that all takes practice. If you do not practice behind this mic, you're not going to get it. You might get some jobs here and there, but it's like when you're starting out, you just got to learn your stuff, and then hopefully you get a job. Sometimes you're probably going to be doing stuff for nothing, just so you can build up your portfolio, and that's
yeah,
okay. But use everything that you get, use it as a promotional tool to say, hey, look, this is what I did the other day, or this
yeah,
is what I did. I'm always posting every day, usually. So I
yeah.
always post about things I'm doing, stuff I'm creating, and experiences I'm having. So,
Yeah. No, that's awesome. That's great to hear. So, but Brad, I would like to know about that very challenging job you ever had, and that job you see like, oh man, this one was easiest. So, can you talk about these two jobs? The one that was actually hard to fulfill, and the other job that you see like, oh man, this one I gave 100% of my soul. Can you talk about these
yeah.
experiences?
Well, being on freelance sites it's great. You can make a lot of money on freelance sites, but you
Yeah,
also deal with clients from all around the world, and you got to figure out a lot of these clients. I had a client that wanted me to do 1,200 word scripts. These are for YouTube jobs, and I just got this mic. I just had picked it up over, and I got a lot of negative feedback on it. And first of all, you just got to kind of like, you can't, don't retaliate. It's like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to come back at you. You don't know what you're talking about. But he did know what he's talking about, because I really didn't know my settings for this
yeah,
mic. And
yeah,
so I recorded it. I recorded it again with this mic. It still didn't work out.
yeah,
And so I had to figure out, I had to troubleshoot, because you don't want a cancellation on a freelance site. I mean, it just kind of screws your whole analytics up,
yeah,
So I wanted to do whatever it took to get this guy to accept this order. So I switched this mic out, went back to my trusty Shure SM7B, and I
yeah,
re-recorded the spot again. So this is like the third time. And I sent it off. And finally, this guy was like, this is exactly what I wanted. And I'm sweating bullets. I mean, there's
yeah,
some jobs where they've been very challenging. This was one of the most challenging jobs, because I've really, you get a lot of people who go, oh, it's great. These are great. But then you get that one where it's like, man, what am I doing? But you got to be able to troubleshoot. You got to be able, don't give up. Keep, over deliver in freelance work. You try to over deliver. I always give, like, if it's not 1,200 words, I mean, if it's short script, give like 3 or 4 takes,
yeah,
because then they're not coming back to you for revisions, unless you got like a mic problem or something you got to fix. But I was like, man, I'm going to get a cancellation. This guy's going to give me a 1-star review, and I'm going to be screwed.
yeah,
But ended up giving me a 5-star review. I got the job was completed. I got paid, and that was a learning experience. So
yeah,
that was vital. Now, a job that's a breeze, like I said, I work with Talk One Radio over here in Bluffton, South Carolina, where I live. And,
yeah,
I met these guys through the Chamber of Commerce. If you haven't joined the Chamber of Commerce locally, if you're in the States, that's important, because you want to find an organization that's going to help you network with other people locally,
exactly.
especially if you're not good at
Yeah,
doing it online.
yeah.
So I met
Networking is the
these
key.
guys. Huh?
I was saying that networking is the key too.
Networking is the key.
Yeah,
If you're not networking, you're not going to find work.
yeah,
You're not going to find work that will pay you what you deserve, you know?
yeah,
So, Talk One Radio, we built a relationship. I have a great relationship with those guys, and I do a lot of their intros and outros for their shows. I do some radio imaging for their shows, and it's a breeze. And if they don't like something, all I do is call me and say, hey, Brad, can you fix this? And which I love, like talking on the phone. So I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. I'll fix it. I'll get everything done. And they pay me accordingly. And we have a great relationship. And a
yeah,
lot of my great relationships are local, and it takes time to build.
yeah. But I would like to know what are your thoughts about the accent? I know that this idea of having the natural accent, because being, for example, a British might be a little bit complicated to have a job in the United States. What are your thoughts about accent limitation in this in the industry of voiceover?
Well, bottom line in life and reality, I think the only limitations you have are the ones up here between your ears.
Yeah,
I really do. I mean, I had a guy from New Orleans. I've been helping him. I've been doing some mentoring with him. And he was saying, you know, I had one guy tell me I could never get work in this business. And he's like, it was such a relief for you to tell me that there's so many, because I told him, I didn't even know about that. I told him, I said, man, there's so many possibilities for your voice.
yeah,
I mean, you could be doing documentaries, you could be doing, you know, this or that, a character voice. He's like, thank you so much for saying that. I said,
yeah,
yeah, you just out. Um, and you don't find out your niche for a while. I mean, I do a lot of ring announcing gigs. My biggest gigs in voiceover right now are doing introductions. I
mm,
mean, I do introductions for parties, nonprofits, stuff like that. But that's a niche I fought for a long time because I was like, I don't want to be a ring announcer anymore. I want to be a voice actor.
yeah.
But
So I was
yeah,
asking
of
you
course.
about the accent limitations. And I would have the last question. I would like to know about your podcast, because I know you have a podcast where you talk a little bit. You talk more about a voiceover as and I would like to know a little bit about your job, about your podcast. Can you talk a little bit about your channel?
Yeah. It's a VO's Padded Room podcast. Padded Room as being in like, okay, you're in the crazy ward, right? Woo! We're all crazy in our booth. And
Yeah,
we like to interview other voiceover artists, whether they're at the bottom or nobody. I don't like to put anybody at levels, but a newcomer and then somebody that's well, versed in voiceover. It doesn't matter what you bring to the table. We just like to interview you, and we'll take you back in time,
yeah,
and we'll take you back to when you were young. Ask you what made you get involved in voiceover. It's not, we don't like to throw the questions out beforehand. We like to kind of let wing the show, kind of, so to speak, and
yeah,
let it go where it's going to go. But 20 minutes into the show, we do something that no other shows usually do, which we do a game show. And what
yeah,
we'll do is we'll provide a script, and we'll ask you to read it in a certain tone. And so our guests don't really know what the script is, and they don't know the tone of the script until the show takes place.
yeah,
And so that's exciting. We get a lot of people coming out and having a little bit of fun with that. Our last interview was with Joe Martinez from the UFC. He's a ring announcer for Ultimate Fighting Championship,
yeah,
and he's been behind the mic for a long time, introducing people. So it doesn't necessarily have to be voiceover, but anybody behind a mic that knows different skills that can translate and help other people out on their journey, that's always important. And at the end of our show, we do a topic of discussion for whatever that person's expertise is. They
yeah,
will share their knowledge. So it's a 30-minute show. It goes by pretty quick, and we enjoy it.
yeah.
And my buddy Big Jim's really good at putting the show together, adding all the bells and whistles, and we're a good tag team. I mean, I've been a host for multiple shows throughout my career, and I like doing it. I like doing it. I learn something new every time.
Okay. No, that's
Make
right.
sure to check it out.
Yeah, very thankful. It was very privileged and it's an honor to have you here in the first edition of Chat with the Legends. I hope to get you in other opportunities. I don't know if you have
Oh, of course.
some additional point to leave here before we close the program.
Final thoughts, I guess, never give up on anything you're doing. It doesn't matter if it's voiceover, doesn't matter if it's, wanting to be a football player or whatever. I mean, don't give up,
Yeah,
and you're going to get knocked down. Things are going to be hard, and, that keep you accountable and that help relieve that stress. Because
yeah,
when you can mark things off and you visually see that, it helps you out tremendously. And if anybody has any questions in regards to voiceover, you can always reach out to me
yeah,
on LinkedIn, Brad Storm Lanou, on my Facebook business page, Brad Storm VO, and on Instagram, Bradstorm VO, Twitter, Bradstorm VO, YouTube, Bradstorm VO, and you can pretty much contact me any of those ways, and I will be more than happy to help you out. I've built, alongside with other coworkers of mine, we built a network of voiceover artists. We meet every Thursday, most Thursdays anyway, to talk about different voiceover challenges. So just reach out to me, and might be able to help you out.
Okay, thank you, Brad. See you another opportunity.
And also remember too, Sergio.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm listening.
Remember too, when life gets you down and you feel like you can't go on, you need to punch every day in the face.
Yeah, in the face. Yeah.
In the face.
Thank you, Brad. Thank you, Brad. See you
Yes,
in another chance, another opportunity. Have a great day.
All right, keep in touch.
Keep in touch. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, Bradstorm, for your time. It was a real privilege and honor to have you here in our first edition of Shots of Legends. We hope to have you here in another opportunity and explore a little bit more about what you'll be doing this time. Thank you, everybody, for being part of this show. Just follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And stay tuned about our activities and about our new guests, about our new interviews. So see you in another opportunity. Thank you.